After I finished co-directing Finding Dory, I was looking for my next project, and I kept going back to the films that I most enjoyed watching and rewatching were the films of my youth. And a lot of those were sci-fi action films, and I wanted to make a sci-fi action film. But we work at a studio that makes these important films, and they're funny and touching, and they have to do all of these things. But I kept wondering, can we just make a sci-fi action film? And at the same time, I kept thinking about Buzz Lightyear and how that universe is something I'd always been connected to and always loved. And merged both the idea of making a sci-fi action film and a Buzz Lightyear film. It occurred to me, why don't we just make that movie, and wouldn't that be fun to do? Because you're on these films so long, I wanted to find something that I would be really excited to see. And that's what and that sense of excitement is what I tried to instill within the crew, and you can really see it on every frame. We were inspired not only by the history of science fiction cinema, but in general, the films that I enjoyed overall. There was a lot of a wide variety of inspirational sources for the film, and it was a way, by drawing on a variety of sources, not just rehashing science fiction, that allowed us the unique look and feel of our film in Lightyear.
So I think that anybody who has seen a Toy Story film is familiar with Buzz, the hero who is a little out of step, as Angus likes to say. He's out of step with the reality around him, right? When he thinks he's a space ranger, he's really a toy. That dislocation, that's familiar to people, and I think that everybody who knows of Buzz will come in expecting some of that. Also heroic, also very dedicated and loyal. You know, the hero, the action hero. So we wanted to preserve all of those elements of Buzz in our film. But he's also a sidekick in Toy Story, and we needed to have a more fully dimensional character to be able to tell a full film with as our protagonist. And so we took liberties, shall we say. We made him a little bit more rich and interesting and multi-dimensional, so we have 90 minutes of just Buzz and really enjoy him.
Also, he's got hair.
He's got hair.
Gave him hair. We didn't have hair before. Now he's got hair. So audiences won't recognize the hair.
We made him a brunette. I always thought he was blonde. Go figure.
Well, time dilation is the scientific principle that the faster you travel in space flight, the further into time you go. Now, if you go at tremendous speed, you can even go so fast that you're aging slower than everyone back on the planet that you left from is aging. So in our story, Buzz is going on these missions that he's traveling at sub-light speed, but it's so fast that the mission for him only lasts 4 minutes, but for everybody on the ground that helped launch him into space, 4 years have gone by. So for our story, we're seeing him skip through time, and Buzz is slowly separating from the society that he knows, all because he wants to get everybody back home.
Oh.
The cat.
Yeah.
The cat. Sorry,
No, that was good. I didn't know that's where you were going to go. So this is a great question. How do you have these meaningful, deep ideas about guilt and about perfectionism and not make a film that's too heavy? Part of it, I would say, is iteration, because we definitely had several versions of this film that were frankly too heavy. They were a little, just you get into Act 2 and you were just sad. It's hard. And the cat, introducing Socks the cat really helps, because it's hard to take anything too seriously when it's coming out of Socks' mouth. But also making the focus a little bit more on the relationships and less just about the guilt. I mean, it sounds odd. You would think that it would be sadder for him to have had a relationship with Alicia, his best friend, almost like a sister, his commander, and to then see that she passes. But the fact that he has a relationship, the fact that you see that he is this fully dimensional person who's missing out, means that when you get into Act 2, you still have faith for the guy. He's not a complete isolated loner hermit person that you have no faith for. You want him to have the beauty and the warmth of friendship like he had in Act 1. And so I think it's more hopeful than it might sound otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I think animation is a medium like anything else, and it's just the story you're telling and how you tell it. I think a lot of the other 25 animated films that Pixar has done, there's nothing can be heavier than let's hold hands and face death in the trash incinerator. So you got nowhere to go but up. It's nice, but I think
we're speaking of up. Probably the hardest I've cried in a movie.
Yeah.
Right?
So this is light. It's light
7
business.
minutes in.
Yeah. I wanted for Lightyear to separate the Buzz character from Toy Story. And in general, the whole film, I wanted it to be kind of a separate thing. And part of that was finding a different voice actor for Buzz Lightyear. Was finding the live action equivalent, if you will, or the more serious action hero. And so where Buzz in the Toy Story films is a side character and a comedic relief, that this Buzz was going to have to be the protagonist that was going to carry the whole film. And to do that, we needed a Buzz that was just a little different. So we tried just thinking about who would be a good action hero star that would also be humorous, but not so much so that it would be a detriment to the sense of peril that they might go through. And immediately Chris Evans came to mind, and what he brings to the role is what he brings to any role, is a sense of legitimacy and a sense of fun and a sense of gravitas, the balance of those things without seeming too goofy. He always feels very legitimate and very authentic, but also has an openness and a commanding thing, but also a sense of self-deprecating. You can imagine him having self-doubt. He can present this frailty that's necessary for a character that's going through change, but can also be a very credible action hero. And he's a wonderful creative partner on the film, and he did a terrific job. It was just every time working with him was a joy. And what he added to it was a sounding board for where we were going with the character as we developed it into this feature. And so he was on earlier than any of the other voice cast. We'd give him the material, we'd play with it, we'd see what he'd bring to it, and we'd adjust the writing to reflect what was best for the character.